you look at last 2-3 quarters, the PSU banks have kind of overtaken in terms of growth delivery, and that is something that I think would continue in the near term, given the good shape the Indian economy is, which is kind of relatively better placed in the global environment where things have turned volatile. A lot of headwinds, one after the other, be it inflation, be it interest rates, and last but not the least, the geopolitical tensions. So in that specter, I think the Indian economy stands out pretty well. Even IMF recently raised the growth outlook, so that kind of pretty well holds pretty well for the banking space in terms of the core business growth outlook. We like both private as well as the public sector banks, but in terms of net profitability growth, because of the lower provisioning, I think some of the PSU banks would start doing well. Having said that, if you look at from our preferred space, we continue to like something like an ICICI Bank within the private space, and ICICI and SBI within the PSU space. If you want to look deeper into the PSU space, we also like Can Bank and Bank of Baroda, which has a valuation which is still comfortable compared to an SBI.
Okay, how do you look at this entire Adani saga that's playing out, and it's come back to haunt the group, so to speak, after the FT report, where they're talking about inflating imported coal prices and that being passed on in terms of higher power prices for the average consumer. Given that most of the entities within the Adani group are now listed, and FT's analysis, by the way, is very different from what Hindenburg had to say about, when it comes to what they've siphoning off money and having shell companies in some of the remote areas. What do you make of the recent development and what it showcases about how this has gone unreported or underreported, because these are listed companies, so their numbers are well disclosed?
So first of all, I would like to put in a disclaimer that we don't cover the Adani stock, so we don't have a view on the space. Looking at the developments, I think it is definitely worrisome for investors, given that you keep getting such kind of developments, news flows with a group, which kind of makes an investor jittery. So I think these are things which will take time to settle out. Like the previous one, where it took a lot of time for the promoters to settle out, both in the Indian courts as well as from the regulators. So it's definitely not a positive development. So I would say that investors should definitely stay away till the news or these developments kind of subside.